Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Transatlantic Takedown. I'm Derek in Ireland.
And I'm Megan, all the way from New York City.
Yeah, exciting stuff. So, what we aim to do here is bring you wrestling coverage with a little bit of a unique twist. Covering stuff from New York to Ireland, everything in between and beyond. So, make sure to tune in for reviews of major matches, previews of upcoming events, and profiles of rising stars, established wrestlers from indie circuits to the global stage. And we even hope to have a few interviews and perhaps some lively discussions from personalities within the
Yes,
industry.
yes, absolutely. And, you know, uh, this is a new project between Derek and I. We met some months ago
Yeah.
when he asked me to be a part of his podcast. Um, and so we just kind of put our heads together and we came up with something that we thought will uh, not only entertain those who tunes in, but also to bring a new perspective to wrestling,
Yeah.
especially with the indie wrestling world in Ireland, which I intend to learn a lot more about through Derek, and vice versa. Just
Yeah.
the indies here in the States, particularly New York City.
Well, that's it, Megan. Don't you worry. Like we'll get you up to speed pretty
Yeah,
soon. There's a lot of talent over here in Ireland. A lot of
yeah,
really good promotions, and as you know we're flying the flag quite well in WWE and so on. And a lot of those
yeah.
guys came from the indie scene here as well. So there'll be many more to follow, and as I'm sure the same, around your area in New York and beyond as well.
Yes,
So always good.
absolutely.
Yeah. So in wrestling at the minute, there's actually quite a lot to get through. We have War Games, Survivor Series War Games coming up on the horizon in just under 2 weeks' time, and we saw the return of Rhea Ripley this week, which
Yes,
was
we
quite
do.
exciting.
Yes, I mean, well, they kind of hinted that she would not be back into Royal Rumble, so it was a pleasant surprise to see her because even I thought maybe Bailey was going to end up being the fifth member, but as you can see, Rhea, she has vengeance on her
Yeah,
mind, and she wants revenge on Liv and Raquel for what they did to her um, during the taping of NXT. And rightfully so. I think she deserves it. I think she deserves not only to get her revenge on them, but to also get her title back because technically she did not lose the title.
that is true.
She had to vacate it. So
Yeah.
um, she deserves this moment.
Yeah, it was quite an exciting return, and she looked fairly formidable as well with the entrance
Yeah.
and teaming with the likes of Bianca, Jade Cargill, Io Sky, and Naomi. What a team, you
Yes.
know. So definitely one to be excited about going forward. But of course, not to forget about AEW. The sixth annual AEW Full Gear is this weekend, and that takes place at the Prudential Center in Newark, in New Jersey, not too far from you.
No, of course. Unfortunately, I will not be there. I will be watching from the warmth of my home, but it's a the match card is really good. I mean, we have former two members of the former fraction, best friends, who are both going up for major titles
Yeah.
this Saturday, and that's Orange Cassidy with the AEW World Heavyweight title against John Moxley, and Chris Statlander, who is going for the TBS title for against Mercedes Monet.
CEO.
I, you know, I don't know. I would love to see both of them walk away new champions, but I feel like John Moxley has something up his sleeve.
Yeah.
So Orange is not going to win. I don't think he will.
I
But I do have more faith that Chris will. definitely win
And do you
for
think
sure.
like there'll be a clean finish in the one between Moxley and Orange Cassidy, or are we likely to see some kind of interference?
Um, I've been holding on to this idea that the whole takeover that John Moxley has been doing is a piece of the puzzle to whether or not Shane McMahon is going to come to AEW. I feel like if there was any way to pull that card, it would be on Saturday. I do not think it will be a clean win because, John has Pac, he has Willer Yuta, he has Claudio, and he has Marina. So
Mm.
I do not think it's going to be a clean match. Absolutely not. I think something is going to happen. Maybe there'll be somebody that'll come out in defense to Orange. I would hope so. But
Would you think maybe the likes of Darby Allin or Garcia, Daniel Garcia, maybe perhaps would come out help him in some way?
I can. Well, actually, Daniel has a match.
He does. He's facing Jack Perry for the TNT Championship.
Yes. So maybe not Daniel, but definitely Darby.
Yeah. Well, look, the rumors have been circulating for quite a while now at this stage for Shane McMahon to be involved in some way with AEW. So
Yes.
there is a possibility there, perhaps. Who knows?
I would love to see it. I mean, we
Yeah.
do now have MVP, we have Sheldon Benjamin, we have Bobby Lashley, who also have a match that night against Swerve Strickland.
Your old friend Swerve.
Uh, yes, that guy. um, but is Bobby going to lose his first match, his first pay per view match? I don't think so.
Yeah, but I think Swerve probably needs a win here to rebuild his momentum in some way. Um, so it's a difficult one to call, as you say. Bobby's just new to the promotion, so I don't know.
That he is. And
Yeah,
yeah, Swerve does need this win. Um, but is Bobby going to lose? Is the question.
that's it. And we also have Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. This should be an exciting one.
Yes, yes. I know, like, this is a lot of these matches that we have where friends kind of fall apart. Um, holds a lot of emotions. It holds a lot of animosity. One usually have more animosity against the other, which in this case it is Kyle, who is very angry with Will Ospreay. And Will, he actually said something that was kind of interesting, which is, I'm the reason why you have your first singles match at a pay per
Mm,
view. You never held a singles match at a pay per view before. So I think Will definitely feels that Kyle owes him.
yeah,
And Kyle just wants to separate himself. I guess the comparisons between the two has finally capped with him.
yeah.
And he just doesn't want to be under, he doesn't want to stand in Will Ospreay's shadow anymore. So,
Makes
um,
sense. But I think
in this,
Osprey is clearly the bigger star here and
yeah,
possibly
yeah.
needs this win in some ways too. Um, I'm going to go for him to win this one.
You think Will needs it more than Kyle?
Ah, I think so. Yeah,
Hmm. I don't know. Well, Will, he has some allies. Of course, Kyle still has Don Callis,
yeah,
um, and Brian Cage, and Lance Archer, and Takeshka.
yeah.
So, um, I don't know. If I was a betting woman, I would probably go for Kyle.
Okay. Well, look,
Yeah.
everybody can leave their comments and their thoughts below as well.
Yes.
What they think, because Yeah, there is some interesting ones. We have Jay White versus Hangman Page is on the card too.
Yes.
You know, maybe Hangman will win here, and it might set up a decider then at World's End, which is the final pay per view. You know, towards the end of the year. What do you think?
Yeah. Uh, mm, I'm not really sure who will
Yeah,
take this win. I've definitely enjoyed the feud between them. Um, Hangman just been going around just attacking everybody, probably since burning down Swerve's childhood home. I mean, this guy has just been angry and just taking it out on everybody from Jeff Jarrett to Jay White, Juice Robinson, Swerve. Like, he's just an angry guy.
yeah,
And the feud between him and Jay White has been a long time coming. Um,
yeah. It's an interesting
but
one.
yeah, I'm not really sure who will take this win. I saw a debate earlier today where people felt like Jay White don't need the heavyweight title, that maybe he could like go for the TNT title. They don't feel like people really care
Yeah,
about Jay White enough, and I thought that was kind of weird because I feel like, yeah, when the Bang Bang Gang comes out, people care. Um, so I don't. I'm not sure. I don't really follow with that, but who needs this win between them two? I would probably I would give it to Jay White because
okay,
Hangman won his last match, his last pay per view match, and that was the one with Swerve.
yeah.
He won
Well,
that match.
well, I think the card overall is a pretty interesting one. There's a few there that are quite difficult to call. We also
Yeah,
have a four-way match for the AEW tag team titles: the Private Party versus the Outrunners, the House of Black, and the Acclaimed. Personally, I think it's maybe a little too soon to end the championship run of the Private Party. But who
yeah.
knows? You know, they might throw up a surprise here.
I would hope. I will
Yeah,
hope that they agree with you and that they allow Private Party to hold the titles a little longer. Um, I know that the Outrunners is pretty popular right now. I don't know. They kind of was like an overnight type of thing. They are the flash in the pan that they keep saying Joe is.
yeah,
Like I thought they were going to, I didn't really get their characters, but it seems as though people really like them.
yeah,
So, if there's anybody who would take the title from them, I can see it being them, but I will hope that Private Party does retain
yeah.
their title.
Hopefully, hopefully. And there's two more matches. Then there's MJF versus Roderick Strong. What do you think about that one?
I don't care about it.
Yeah,
Honestly, I don't care about it.
I
It
love
should be
MJF.
Adam
I think he's
Cole.
class.
Do you? I
Yeah, no,
think
he's the
he's
ultimate heel. He's
obnoxious.
really good, and
He
I've
is.
seen so much of him. You know, even his interactions with fans, and he's just in heel mode all the time. You know,
Yeah.
even with kids, like he's putting up the finger, you know, in the cameras,
Yes.
in the photographs and videos and everything, or even doing it really with subtlety behind their backs and things like that. It's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he is a great character.
yeah,
Um, Sometimes you can't really tell what is the character and what is him, and maybe that's a good thing, you know. Uh, but yeah, I don't care about this match. If you want to make me care, have it to where something happens to Roddy and they
yeah.
end up giving the match back to Adam Cole. Because that's
Okay.
where the real feud stands. The real feud stands between them two.
Yeah. Yeah. It should
So,
have been possibly a triple threat match or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Adam lost to Takeshka, but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like there's going to be like a little swerve when it comes down to that match.
Okay. And we've got Costco guy AJ versus QT Marshall. Then I think that'll be the pre-show match.
Yes.
Yeah. That'll be
Again, that's another match that I do not care about.
just a bit of
Yeah,
a
he's just
filler.
yeah, random guy that I guess he works at Costco's or something, and he's getting a match against
Yeah.
QT Marshall. So I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't I have no
Yeah.
real interest in it.
Well, that's it. You know, the buy-in from people for that. I don't think it's going to be crazy, but
Yeah,
just AEW in general, the current state of AEW, like we're seeing reports there on the low attendance for shows, and I think I saw something there in the last couple of days. They're going to be moving to some smaller venues now for their shows.
yes.
Because I saw, you know, there was footage taken of some of the shows with a lot of empty seats and things. What's your take on that? What do you think?
Yeah, I heard about that. I guess for televised shows like Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision, they will be moving to more intimate venues, more smaller venues, and they will reserve the bigger venues and arenas for their pay-per-views, which I think it makes sense. I mean, a lot of people have been watching AEW from the beginning.
Hmm.
I was a little late. I didn't start watching it until 2022.
Yeah,
Um,
same here.
so it's kind of like I guess some people feel like they've hit their peak. Uh, I don't I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like there's room for improvement and there's room for them to grow. I think it's just a matter of knowing what to do.
Yeah, I'm not
And
sure if
and
you remember, WWE went through this as well,
yeah,
back in the '90s and so on, and even partially, you know, in the thousands as well. Um, they ended up like in, I think, can't be quite sure, in like a gym somewhere, you know, like as the college gym. They were doing some house shows and things. Some of the WrestleMania, some of their pay per views actually went right down in attendance as well.
uh,
So look how they are today. I think it goes through phases. AEW
yeah,
is, it has a lot of haters out there, but
that is true.
I think they've made WWE up their game in some ways.
I agree.
There's a lot of talent there in AEW. The women's division is really good. There's probably not enough of them on these cards.
Right,
But yeah,
right. Because
I
when
think
you
they're doing
think
something
about it,
right.
there's no reason why there should only be one woman's match
No,
on the card.
no,
And that's the issue that I do have with AEW. Now, I acknowledge the fact that Mercedes want to have a weekly women's show. Um, build up the TV time for the shows that you have already for
yeah,
the women's division before you create something that people are not going to tune in to watch. There
definitely.
should be more than one women's match. You have so many women from Thunder Rosa to Diona. Um,
Britt Baker. There's a lot.
yeah, so many,
Mariah
so
May.
many,
Yeah,
and they just. I don't know. Maybe they need someone that's specialized in bookings of the women wrestlers. They need something. Whoever is booking it. I know Tony plays a part in it. I don't think he's the only one that do the booking, but he needs help,
yeah,
especially when it comes down to the women. I don't think that a woman's a weekly show for the women wrestlers is going to help
Yeah.
until they build the foundation first, which is on the shows that they already have.
Yeah, definitely. And considering AEW likes to uh, pack a card out with a lot of
Yeah,
matches, there's plenty of scope there for fitting in some of the female talent, I believe. You know.
right. Because we really did not need this Costco guy match. We did not need it. We did
Well,
not
obviously
need
they
that
feel
match at
somebody needs
all.
it.
Oh
You
my
know.
God. That match could have went to an established wrestler that
Yeah.
don't have um, any TV time. And we're not going to get into the Ricky Starks because where's Ricky? It's feeling like a game of Where's Waldo? Where's Ricky Stark?
Well, we're going to switch topics here slightly. There was a little bit of controversy in the last few days from yourself, Megan. You were on Wrestle Republic, and you made a statement about, something to do with the GOAT of female wrestling and
Yes.
the fabulous Moolah you selected. And yeah, there was quite a response, I believe, to that.
Yeah. Um, okay, so the original quote had her in the mix. She
Yeah,
wasn't like the point that I was making. But um, during a recording of another podcast that I am on, the conversation came up on whether Becky Lynch is the greatest of all time in women's wrestling. Now, I understand she is she is from your homeland.
she
So this
is. We
is
love
to
Becky.
no, this is to no offense to Miss Lynch, but um, the debate wasn't the fact whether or not she was or is one of the best women wrestlers in the world, because I think hands down, a lot of us would agree that that's the case. The question was if she was the greatest of all time. And I felt like there were a lot of women who had paved the way to make it possible for her, as well as the wrestlers before her and the wrestlers after Becky, to be women wrestlers.
Yeah,
Um, Now, the quote in question was the fact that I brought up the fact that Fabulous Moolah had the title for almost 30 years. I also mentioned Mae Young, but then I also mentioned Trish Stratus, Lita, China, Jacqueline, Ivory, like all of these women that I saw
yeah.
wrestling when I was a kid. Because I wasn't around for Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young, not until
No.
their later years. Um,
Yeah, they became circus type acts or attractions, really.
Towards the end,
Yeah,
yeah. But the point that I was making was that these women, despite the things that Fabulous Moolah was accused of doing, because she did a lot of bad things
she did.
to a lot of women.
Yeah,
But the point I was making was that these women went through a lot of things during those times, a lot of
yeah.
moments of sexism,
We
sexual
we could sit
misconduct.
here. We could sit here and debate it for quite some time. To be honest,
Yeah,
they were operating in a different era. There was
yeah,
different things that they probably felt they needed to do to fit in that era. If we want to look at it in a different way, we have Vince McMahon. We're starting to see the extent of some of the things he did. A lot of it we knew about. A lot of it we still, are probably going to find out about. Vince is still worshipped by a lot of wrestling fans that see him. And he did. there's no denying he transformed the industry, but that doesn't take away from some of the acts that he and some of the things that he got involved in. So I would liken what, Moolah, she probably felt that she had to do certain things to fit into a male dominated industry at the time. But
Right.
that doesn't take away from the talent that she had. And having said that, though, there's a lot of female talent through the years that, in every aspect, like on the microphone, their in-ring talent, how they mentored others, all that type of thing, that have been unbelievable. It's a really subjective topic, and it's a difficult one to, to think of who was the actual GOAT. Like, you've Charlotte Flair there, you have China, she
Yeah.
broke down so many barriers. She competed against the men. I mean, there's, Lita, Trish, all the usuals, and but Becky Lynch is right up there. There's no denying.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think that was, look, I feel like when it comes down to the greatest of all time, it's always going to be subjective. I don't think there's going to be one person
no,
that everyone is going to agree on. And I think it all really stems on the era of wrestling that you started watching wrestling in. I
yeah,
started watching wrestling during the Attitude Era, which would have dated me about 11,
hmm
12, around that time. So, you know, I saw a lot of women who were like, even the fighting styles in the women's matches are different now. I mean, you have these bra and panty matches, like the matches weren't for us. The matches
no.
were for the men.
They were
Um,
they were kind of, I often heard men referring it to, and you know their toilet breaks. When a lot of the women's matches came on, um, and there were some very talented women, but they just didn't get the chance that the females are getting now, which is fantastic. That we're finally getting to see the talent that's there, and
yeah,
yeah, it's amazing. But look, that's something we'll discuss in much more detail on another episode for sure, and perhaps we can even get some other people on to to have that discussion with us. You know,
yeah,
definitely, it's one that we could talk for ages on. But looking around at some of the other news then that's going on at the minute, there was some news about Linda and Vince separating there as well after decades of marriage. Some might say they've been separated for some time at this stage, and Linda McMahon has gotten herself a job with Donald Trump.
yeah. Uh, well, I mean, separations and divorces happen all the time. So, I don't I don't really have too much thoughts on that. I think I agree. A lot of people already kind of assumed that they were separated anyway.
Yeah,
Um, I guess people would think the timing is a little interesting that her lawyer is confirming that now. But yeah. As for her job, yeah, she will be um, over the Department of Education that is covering all of the states. I guess that will include private schools, public schools, what is being taught, uh,
yeah,
the curriculums. Hopefully, there won't be too many of the removal of history. I think there's a lot of things that I've learned as a kid in school that is not currently being taught.
okay,
Um, with the generation of today, Um, Same goes as for a lot of the things that I've learned.
Hmm.
And I would share with my mom, and she would say, "Yeah, we weren't being taught that." So I noticed that as the generations go on, we are being taught different things. So I'm hoping that Mrs. McMahon is not a part of that problem,
Yeah.
but you know, this is his world, and we're just living in it.
Well,
So
that's
just
it.
roll with the punches and hope for the best.
That's for sure. Yeah. Look, and I'm sure she's quite a good businesswoman as well, and she's
Yeah,
she's who knows what she might do. Another story I saw was the WWE have some double tapings coming up close to Christmas and Thanksgiving, which you'll be celebrating over there soon, to give their
yeah,
stars some much needed rest and time off to spend the holidays with their loved ones, which is a nice touch, I think, from Triple
yeah,
H and those on, which is good to see because with the schedule that they have, and I saw there recently they were just after completing Crown Jewel over in Saudi, and they were back in Dublin for the WWE Live in Dublin the following day. A lot of the stars, which was crazy, and then they were on to the UK for a few days
right.
afterwards. So the schedule is manic. So that it's good to see that kind of thing going on. At least the human side of it, giving everybody the little bit of time off. But
Yes,
that's it. But look, there's exciting times coming up, especially here in Ireland in the Irish wrestling scene over the next month or so, coming up to Christmas. There's a lot of events from the likes of OTT, Rebel County Wrestling in Cork, and Hard Knocks just had their second anniversary there recently, last weekend, and they have some more events then outlined for February and onwards. So there's a lot of different things we'll be able to cover in upcoming episodes, and
yes,
a lot of the indie scene over around where you are as well, Megan.
yes. I am going to try to attend the MLW show, which is December 5th.
Yeah,
That show, from my understanding, will be a takeover for Eric Bischoff. So I guess he will be pretty much running that whole particular card. I do know there's going to be some familiar faces there, such as Matt Riddle,
nice one.
Dijak, um, uh, oh gosh, there is an interesting list
Yeah,
of wrestlers. Their names skip me right now, but they'll be my first MLW show, so I'm hoping that I can um, definitely make that a recurring thing for the podcast,
yeah,
and hopefully that will lead to us speaking to some of their wrestlers and
that'd
just
be
getting a
fantastic.
feel on what they have
Yeah,
going on, and if they, if the indies circuit is something that they willing to stay on, or if they're looking to get re-signed to another promotion.
definitely. I think it's good to highlight any of the indie stars. Profile some of them. We have some fantastic talent here in Ireland
Yes.
that will follow in the footsteps of the likes of Lyra Valkyria, Sheamus, Becky,
Yeah.
Finn Balor, JD McDonough. Unbelievable. So definitely everybody keep tuning in because we'll have some exciting stuff on the way. But I think that's it from us for our first episode. And
Yeah.
thanks for watching, folks. And make sure to like, follow, subscribe for more upcoming content from us. And you can find us on all the major social platforms at this stage. And yeah, make sure to leave your comments and your thoughts or predictions below as well.
Yes, absolutely. Next week we will be giving our predictions to the Survivor Series War Games. Now that we have an idea on who, now that we know who the 5 women on each team for War Games is, we're still trying to figure out who is going to be Roman's fifth member.
Yeah,
There's speculations it could be Seth freaking Rollins. There's also speculations it could be a former heavyweight champion that has been missing for a couple of
yeah,
months. So
exactly.
yeah, so we'll be giving our predictions to that and talking about the results from Full Gear and um, everything that happens in between.
Exactly. So catch you again soon, folks, and take care.
Yes, thank you. Bye.